If you enjoy starting your morning with a glass of milk and some fruit, or perhaps a cup of tea after yogurt, you're not alone. Most people over 60 do this every day without giving it a second thought. But here's something most folks don't realize. Certain food combinations with dairy can quietly work against your body. They can block calcium absorption, upset digestion, and even make you feel bloated or heavy after meals. You see, after the age of 60, our digestion changes more than we might think. The stomach produces less acid, and the enzyme that helps digest lactose, called lactase, becomes weaker. That means dairy, which once felt light and nourishing, can now become a bit harder to handle. And when it's paired with the wrong foods, the problem multiplies. Imagine it like a traffic jam inside your gut. Nutrients can't move freely, so calcium doesn't reach your bones the way it should. Instead, it gets trapped or passes through unused, leaving your body short on one of the minerals it needs most. And it's not just about bones. When dairy doesn't digest properly, it can create gas, sluggishness, and sometimes even joint stiffness or morning fatigue. Many seniors blame age for these issues, but in truth, a lot of it comes down to how foods are combined. The good news: you don't have to give up milk, cheese, or yogurt. They can still be incredibly healthy if you know how to pair them wisely. In today's video, we'll uncover the 3 most common dairy combinations that doctors warn against, the ones that silently drain your calcium and disturb your digestion. Then I'll show you exactly what to eat instead, so your body absorbs nutrients better, your stomach feels lighter, and your bones stay strong for years to come. Stay with me until the end, because I'll also share a simple, smart dairy routine that can turn this everyday habit into a real health advantage. Let's begin by understanding why our bodies handle dairy differently after 60 and why that small change matters more than you might think. As we move past 60, our body's relationship with food changes quietly, but profoundly. You might notice that meals you once enjoyed with no trouble now feel a bit heavier or leave a touch of bloating afterward. That's not your imagination. It's your body gently reminding you that digestion has slowed down. One of the biggest shifts happens in how we process dairy. Milk, cheese, yogurt, they all contain a natural sugar called lactose to digest it. Our body uses an enzyme called lactase, which is made in the small intestine. But as we age, the production of lactase naturally declines. It's not a disease or intolerance for most people. It's simply biology doing what it does with time. When lactase levels drop, the body can't fully break down lactose. The undigested part travels into the gut, where bacteria ferment it. That's what produces bloating, or that slightly unsettled feeling after enjoying dairy-heavy meals. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just subtle discomfort that builds up slowly over the years. But here's where it gets more interesting. After 60, the stomach also produces less hydrochloric acid. That's the acid responsible for breaking down proteins and helping absorb key minerals like calcium and magnesium. So when dairy isn't paired properly, calcium can get trapped inside food combinations that your gut can't process efficiently. Instead of strengthening your bones, that valuable nutrient passes through unabsorbed. Think of your digestive system like a kitchen, efficient when organized, but chaotic when overloaded. When dairy is combined with foods that clash, it's like mixing ingredients in the wrong order. The meal might look fine, but the body struggles to cook it properly instead. That's one reason many people over 60 find themselves dealing with low calcium, even though they still consume plenty of dairy. The issue isn't always the amount of calcium you eat, it's how well your body can use it. And that efficiency depends greatly on timing and pairing. For example, when dairy is eaten too close to iron-rich foods or alongside acidic fruits, it can block mineral absorption. Likewise, when paired with caffeine, it can actually pull calcium out of the body. These small mistakes, repeated daily, can quietly weaken bones over time, and most people have no idea it's happening. The good news is, once you understand this connection, it becomes incredibly easy to fix. By giving your digestion a little more space, separating certain foods by an hour or two, and pairing dairy with calmer, compatible ingredients, you can help your body absorb more nutrients and feel more comfortable after meals. So if you've been wondering why you still get bloated after your morning cereal with milk, or why your supplements don't seem to make much difference for your bones, this might be the missing piece. In the next part, we'll dive into the specific food combinations that cause the most trouble. You'll discover 3 innocent habits many people over 60 have, and how just changing when or how you eat those foods with dairy can transform your digestion and bone strength almost immediately. Let's start with the first and most common mistake many people make, mixing dairy with citrus or acidic foods. It sounds harmless, doesn't it? A glass of milk with your morning orange juice, or a bowl of yogurt topped with pineapple or strawberries. After all, fruit and dairy are both healthy on their own, but when they meet inside your stomach, that's when the trouble begins. Here's what really happens. Dairy products like milk and yogurt are rich in protein, especially a type called casein. When that protein encounters a strong acid such as the citric acid from oranges, lemons, tomatoes, or pineapple, it curdles almost instantly inside your stomach. This reaction turns the smooth dairy into a thick, clumpy mixture that your digestive system now has to work much harder to break down. For younger people, that might not cause too much trouble. But after 60, when stomach acid is already lower and digestion slower, this curdled mix can linger much longer than it should. The result: gas, bloating, heaviness after eating, and sometimes even mild nausea or heartburn. Many seniors blame lactose for these symptoms, but often it's actually the combination that's the culprit, not the dairy itself. There's also the nutrient side of the problem. Acidic foods interfere with how calcium and phosphorus from dairy are absorbed. Instead of moving into your bloodstream and toward your bones, they may bind up in that curdled mix and pass right through your system. Over time, that means your bones don't get the nourishment they need, even if you're faithfully drinking milk every morning. But the good news is, you don't have to give up fruit or dairy. You just need to separate them wisely. If you enjoy citrus fruits like oranges or grapefruit, have them first, ideally 30 minutes before your dairy meal. That gives your stomach time to process the acid. Or, if you prefer yogurt or milk, wait at least 1 to 2 hours before reaching for something sour or tangy. Another easy trick is to choose low-acid fruits to pair with dairy. Bananas, mangoes, papayas, and sweet apples work beautifully. They digest more gently and don't cause the same curdling effect. That's why banana smoothies with yogurt or milk are often much easier on the stomach and still give you a delicious, calcium-rich start to the day. And if you love fruit with breakfast, here's a simple rule. Keep citrus and dairy apart. For example, instead of orange juice with your cereal and milk, switch to warm water with a squeeze of lemon first thing in the morning, and then enjoy your milk-based breakfast half an hour later. This tiny change alone can dramatically reduce bloating and help your body use more of that precious calcium. I've seen countless seniors make this one adjustment and notice a difference within a week. Less gas, less heaviness after breakfast, and more comfort through the day. It's amazing how one simple timing tweak can turn dairy from a problem food back into a source of nourishment and strength. So, the first dangerous mix is dairy and citrus. They simply don't get along inside the body. Coming up next, we'll look at another silent nutrient conflict that surprises many people. Why mixing dairy with iron-rich foods, like spinach or red meat, can quietly rob your bones of strength even when your diet looks perfectly healthy on paper. Now let's move on to the second food combination that quietly weakens your nutrition, mixing dairy with iron-rich foods like spinach, beans, lentils, or red meat. At first, that might sound surprising. After all, both calcium and iron are essential minerals your body needs every day. Calcium keeps bones strong, while iron supports red blood cells and prevents fatigue. But here's the catch. These two powerful nutrients don't like to share the same space. Inside your digestive system, calcium and iron compete for absorption. They both use a similar pathway in the small intestine. When you eat them together, calcium tends to win because it's absorbed more readily. That means iron, the mineral responsible for carrying oxygen through your blood, gets left behind, unabsorbed. Over time, this can lead to subtle but important deficiencies: lower energy, pale skin, weaker hair, or even mild anemia. For seniors, that's especially concerning. After 60, your body's efficiency in absorbing nutrients naturally drops, even if you're eating well. So every bit of iron and calcium matters. If they block each other, you lose twice weaker bones and lower vitality. Let me give you a few real-life examples. Many people enjoy a spinach omelet with cheese, or a beef lasagna loaded with ricotta. Others might drink a glass of milk right after dinner, thinking it helps with heartburn. These meals seem harmless, even healthy, but they quietly reduce how much iron your body can use from that food. The same goes for taking an iron supplement with your morning milk or coffee. That's one of the most common mistakes doctors see. Calcium from dairy, or even caffeine, can cut iron absorption by nearly half. So what's the fix? It's simple: give each nutrient its own time to shine. If you're having a dairy-rich meal, like yogurt with fruit or cheese with whole grain toast, enjoy it at breakfast or lunch. Then, save your iron-rich foods like leafy greens, beans, or lean red meat for later in the day, ideally at least 2 to 3 hours apart. This spacing allows your body to absorb both nutrients far more efficiently. Here's another tip: pair iron foods with vitamin C sources instead. For instance, have a bit of lemon on your spinach, or eat bell peppers with lentils. Vitamin C boosts iron absorption dramatically, while dairy does the opposite. Just remember the simple rule: keep calcium and iron separate, and both will do their jobs beautifully. And if you love dairy but also need more iron, for example, if you're feeling more tired lately or your doctor has mentioned anemia, don't worry. You don't have to eliminate dairy. You just have to time it right. Think of it as creating harmony in your diet instead of conflict. I've seen many older adults regain their energy and improve their lab results simply by shifting their dairy to the morning and their iron meals to the evening. The change seems small, but the body notices. It's like giving your digestion a clear schedule instead of a traffic jam. So, to sum up, dairy, iron-rich foods don't mix well together. They compete for absorption, and both lose in the process. By separating them, you'll protect your bones, improve your energy, and make every meal work smarter for you. Next, we'll look at a combination that nearly everyone makes without realizing it. One that can quietly drain calcium from your body even as you drink it. I'm talking about the pairing of dairy and caffeine. And it's one habit you'll want to understand before your next cup of coffee. Now, let's talk about a pairing that almost everyone enjoys, and yet it's quietly one of the worst for your bones and calcium levels. Dairy with caffeine. Think about it. How often do you start your morning with a latte, a cappuccino, or maybe tea with milk? It's a comforting ritual, warm, familiar, and delicious. But beneath that comfort lies a small problem that builds up silently over time. Here's what happens. When caffeine enters the body, whether from coffee, black tea, green tea, or even chocolate, it slightly increases how much calcium the kidneys flush out through urine. It's not dramatic, but when this happens every single day, especially in older adults, that slow calcium loss starts to add up. It's like a slow leak in a bucket. You don't notice it at first, but over the years, it leaves your bones a little emptier. Now, add dairy into the mix. You might think that adding milk to your coffee makes it healthier after all. Milk has calcium, right? But in reality, caffeine still triggers calcium loss. And when the two are combined at the same time, your body doesn't get the full benefit from the milk's minerals. The caffeine wins the tug of war. That's why many doctors now recommend spacing your coffee or tea at least 1 hour away from dairy. It gives your system time to absorb the calcium before caffeine starts pulling it out. This simple timing adjustment can make a noticeable difference over time, especially if you drink multiple cups a day. It's also worth mentioning that caffeine isn't just in coffee or tea. Chocolate, cola, and even some energy drinks can have enough caffeine to affect calcium balance. So if you're in the habit of enjoying milk chocolate or a coffee-flavored dessert after dinner, that combination might be undoing some of the good your earlier meals did. Now, you don't have to give up your morning coffee, not at all. In fact, there are easy ways to make it work better for your body. One smart option is to switch to caffeine-free herbal teas like chamomile or rooibos during your dairy meals. They're gentle on digestion, naturally soothing, and don't interfere with calcium absorption. Another is to simply shift the timing. Have your coffee first, wait about an hour, and then enjoy your yogurt or milk. This way, you still get both the pleasure and the benefit. There's even a bonus trick I often recommend. Replace your second cup of coffee with a golden milk. Warm milk blended with a pinch of turmeric and cinnamon. It's rich, comforting, and anti-inflammatory, helping your joints and bones at the same time. Many people find that once they make this switch, their digestion improves, their sleep deepens, and their energy feels steadier throughout the day. When you understand the dairy-caffeine connection, it's not about restriction, it's about rhythm. Your body thrives when nutrients don't compete but complement each other. For seniors especially, that rhythm can make the difference between feeling tired and feeling strong, between fragile bones and resilient ones. So remember this simple takeaway. Dairy nourishes, caffeine depletes, give them space apart, and they'll both serve you better. Now that we've explored the 3 combinations to avoid dairy, with citrus, with iron-rich foods, and with caffeine, it's time to look at the bright side. In the next part, we'll talk about how to make dairy your ally again. You'll learn exactly which foods enhance calcium absorption, soothe your digestion, and keep your bones strong for years to come. Before we move on to the smart dairy routine that helps your body actually use calcium better, let me pause for a moment to ask you something simple. If this video has helped you understand your meals in a new way, take a second to tap the like button. It really helps more people over 60 find this kind of science-backed, easy-to-follow health guidance. And while you're here, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of the 3 food combinations surprised you most? Dairy with citrus, with iron foods, or with caffeine? Your experiences might help someone else watching today. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Senior Wellness every week. We share practical, gentle strategies to keep your digestion smooth, your bones strong, and your energy steady. Now, let's dive into how to turn all of this into a simple daily routine, one that lets you keep enjoying dairy while helping your body truly benefit from it. Now that you know which combinations to avoid, let's focus on the fun part, how to enjoy dairy the right way. Because the truth is, you don't need to quit milk, cheese, or yogurt. You just need to make a few simple changes that help your body digest them better and absorb more calcium where it counts in your bones. Let's start with timing. One of the easiest ways to make dairy work for you is to enjoy it when your stomach is calm and relatively empty, such as mid-morning or mid-afternoon. At those times, your digestive enzymes are active, but your system isn't overloaded with heavy foods. That's when calcium absorption is strongest. If you like yogurt or milk, have it as a standalone snack, rather than piling it on top of a full meal. Next is choosing the right type of dairy. As we get older, our bodies often handle fermented dairy, like yogurt, kefir, or buttermilk much better than plain milk. These foods already contain friendly bacteria and partially broken down lactose, making them easier to digest. Kefir, for instance, not only supports gut health but also boosts calcium absorption and even helps reduce inflammation. If milk feels heavy, try switching half of your intake to yogurt or kefir and notice the difference within a week. Then there's the question of what to pair dairy with. This is where most people overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. Combine dairy with gentle, non-acidic, whole foods. For example, oatmeal with milk, yogurt with bananas or blueberries, or cheese with whole grain crackers and nuts. These combinations are easy on the stomach, stabilize blood sugar, and make the calcium in dairy far more bioavailable. You can also think about the temperature of your dairy. Cold milk can sometimes shock a sensitive stomach, especially in the morning. Try warming it slightly, or turning it into a soothing drink before bed. A cup of warm milk with a pinch of turmeric and cinnamon. what some people call golden milk, is not only calming but also helps the body absorb calcium more effectively while reducing nighttime inflammation. If you take supplements, especially calcium or iron, pay attention to spacing. Take calcium-rich dairy. Get at least 2 hours apart from your iron supplement, so both nutrients can be absorbed without competition. And if you drink coffee or tea, keep that 1-hour buffer we talked about earlier. It may sound small, but it makes a big difference over time. Finally, remember to listen to your body. Not everyone digests dairy in the same way. If you feel bloated after milk but fine with yogurt, follow that cue. If you love cheese but notice stiffness the next day, try cutting the portion in half and pairing it with more vegetables or water. Your body always gives you clues. The key is learning to listen. With these small adjustments, dairy can go back to being a friend, not a foe. You'll start noticing your digestion feeling lighter, your energy steadier, and your bones stronger. And perhaps most importantly, you'll be able to enjoy the foods you love without discomfort or guilt. Healthy aging isn't about giving things up. It's about understanding your body better and creating harmony with it. So as you sip your next cup of milk or spoon through your yogurt, remember, it's not what you eat that matters most, but how you combine it. Coming up next, we'll clear up some of the biggest myths about dairy, like whether it really causes mucus, or if you should avoid it before bed. You might be surprised by what science actually says. Now that we've covered how to make dairy work for you, let's clear up a few common myths that have confused people for years. Myth number 1. Milk causes mucus or makes you congested. This is one of the oldest beliefs out there, but research shows it's not quite true. Milk doesn't actually make the body produce more mucus. What happens is that dairy has a naturally creamy texture that can coat the throat for a short time, feeling like mucus. For most people, that's harmless and temporary. Unless you have a diagnosed dairy allergy or severe sinus issues, milk isn't the enemy here. Myth number 2. Dairy is bad for arthritis. Many people assume that dairy worsens joint pain, but science tells a different story. Studies show that low-fat or fermented dairy, like yogurt and kefir, can actually reduce inflammation markers in the body. It's the added sugars or processed foods often eaten alongside dairy, not the dairy itself, that contribute to inflammation. So if you have arthritis, skip the sweetened yogurts. But don't be afraid of plain yogurt or a small piece of cheese. They can still support your bones and muscle strength beautifully. Myth number 3. Plant milks are always healthier. Not necessarily. Almond, oat, or soy milks can be great alternatives, especially for those with lactose intolerance. But remember, not all plant milks are created equal. Many store-bought versions are loaded with added sugars, or contain very little protein or calcium. Always check the label and look for ones that say unsweetened and fortified with calcium and vitamin D. And if you can, rotate between dairy and plant milks for balance. Both have unique benefits. And one more question I often hear, is it okay to have milk before bed? The answer is yes, in fact. It can help. Warm milk contains tryptophan and magnesium, which help the body relax and prepare for sleep. Just keep it simple. Plain milk or a pinch of turmeric, not chocolate or caffeine-flavored drinks. The bottom line is this: dairy isn't dangerous. It's misunderstood. When you choose the right kind, at the right time, and pair it wisely, it can remain a cornerstone of strong bones, steady energy, and good digestion even well past 60 shiti. Coming up next, we'll wrap everything up with a quick summary and a few final thoughts to help you put this knowledge into daily action. We've learned that dairy isn't the problem. It's the pairings that make all the difference. Mixing milk or yogurt with citrus can curdle your digestion. Combining dairy with iron-rich foods like spinach or red meat can block vital minerals. And pairing it with caffeine quietly drains calcium over time. But with just a few smart adjustments, spacing meals, choosing fermented dairy, pairing it with gentle fruits and grains, you can enjoy all the comfort of dairy without the discomfort. your bones, your digestion, and even your energy will thank you. If this video helped you see food in a clearer, more empowering way, please like the video, subscribe to Senior Wellness, and share your biggest takeaway in the comments. Your voice helps us create the next simple, science-backed guide for healthier living after 60. Here's to stronger bones, calmer digestion, and a happier, healthier